Hello beadlings. Okay, this month's tutorial is much more low tech than usual. Hagai is trying to finish school this month, so I'm just like letting them do homework and stuff. And then we're going on vacation and whatever. But I did want to get a tutorial out. It is how to make a carousel cuff. Super basic, super simple. So here's the tutorial. Okay, so for your carousel cuff, the supplies that you're going to need are beads, scissors, string, stretch cord of whatever kind. I like to use 1.2 millimeter cloth covered stretch cord, and a cuff. I'm doing this with a 1X cuff. You can do it with 2X or 3X. You can do it with as many X's as you like, but as it gets taller, the little carousel thingies will get floppier. You'll see what I mean in a second. The other optional thing that you can use is plastic straws. I'll show you. Hang on. I sent a guy to the store to get some because we're all out, but there is an optional use for plastic straws on this one. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your X-base cuff, and you are going to make sure that your string is running out of one of these contact beads. You're going to add 5 beads and then go into the next contact bead over. This is basically the same starting point as making a basic X-base 3D cuff. 5 beads and into the next bead. Just like that, pull it tight so that it stands out like a little spike. And then you are going to repeat that all the way around the cuff until you come back to this bead. Okay, so here we are. We've got spikes all the way around. We've got our string coming out of this contact bead, and we're going to run our string up through 1, 2, 3 beads and come out this point here. Perfect. And now we're going to add 5 beads between these points. Again, all the way around the circle, repeating what we did. So we're going to have like a little double stacked point kind of thing going on. I'll show you. 5 beads into the next one and pull it tight. It is really important to keep it as tight as you can because you do want them to maintain that pointy shape, and just all the way around until you get back to this bead right here. Okay, so once you've got all of your points added, it's going to look something like this, and string is coming out of this bead. You're going to run it just back up to the cuff and tie it off like that. And like that. We're going to tie it in a triple knot just to make sure it stays secure. Perfect. And now we're going to flip it over. Well, we're going to cut off the extra string first. Doink. Okay, now we're going to flip it over and do the same on this side. So that means we're going to take another length of string and we're going to attach it to the base. One, 2, and 3, triple knots. Perfect. We cut off the short end and attach our Kandi needle to this end. Usually I will just tie a double knot, and then if I gotta cut it off at the end, so be it. Perfect, okay. Now we're going to make sure the string is coming out of one of these contact beads and repeat that whole process. So we want to have 2, like a double row of spikes on the bottom and on the top. Also, apologies for the shaky cam. My tripod is just like sitting on my desk. There's not a whole lot I can do about it moving when I shake the desk. Okay, so now we've got a double row of like spikes on both the top and the bottom. And here is where the straws come in. Now, again, this is totally optional, but what you can do is take your straw. I am going to cut this bendy bit off because the bendy bit is not useful. Also, these straws that I'm using happen to be like compostable. So if you can use compostable, use that. Otherwise, you can use regular plastic. Then you're going to take your straw, you're going to cut along the length of it so that you can then fold it in on itself and kind of like roll it up into a smaller, pointier straw. I don't know how well that is showing on camera, but you want it small enough so that it can fit inside of beads. So the distance between the top layer and the bottom layer of spikes is like roughly 3 beads. As a note, it is 3 beads because this is a 1x cuff. For a 2x cuff, it would be like 6 beads and so on and so forth. You just have to look at the size like of how tall your cuff is and see how many beads it is between the top layer of spikes and the bottom layer of spikes. Okay, we can continue. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 beads on here and then cut it off so that the straw hides inside of the beads. This is not necessary. You can absolutely make a carousel cuff without straws. This is just a nice little like hack to make it so that your like little, I don't know what they're called, vertical thingies stay upright and don't get floppy. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then we'll snip it at the end here. They do tend to kind of go flying, so just keep track of where they go. See? Just like that. And now what we're going to do is run our string through here, just like that. And then run our string through here, just like that. And then we're gonna run our string. So see, I don't know how well you can see this, but the string is coming out of the right side of the bead. It is going into the right side of the bead. These are the first layer of spikes, directly vertical from each other. And with it coming out of the left side of the bead, we're going to run it back up through the middle. And then through the left side of the top bead, just like that. See? And we pull it tight. And that gives us a little vertical bar sitting in between those 2 beads. Now we're going to run through to the point of this next one here, just like that. And you're going to just repeat that. You literally just do that same step. So it's coming out the right hand side of this bead. So we're going to string those 3 on and put it into the right side of the bead directly underneath it. Pull it through. Oops. So that it is tight and sits pretty much vertically right there, and then run the string back up through the middle of those beads, just like that. And string through the left-hand side, just like that. And you're going to repeat that all the way around the cuff until you've got your inner bars and your outer bars. And I just use 1 long piece of string. Once I run out of string, I'll add more. I'll show you how to add more when I get there. But you just repeat that all the way around the circle. Okay, so you can see I am running out of string. This is not going to be enough to finish the cuff, so I'm going to add some more. This is a 2nd length of string. To extend it, we put both ends together and then tie them in 1 knot, just like this. See? Simple granny knot. And then I like to tie the ends together like that, and then just cut off the ends. It does leave a little knot there, so you gotta make sure it's tight. And there you go. More string has been added. I'm gonna finish doing the rest of the cuff, and I will be right back. Okay, so here you can see it is entirely done, and those straws took what was a very floppy cuff and made it stand pretty straight up. We've got our string coming out of this bead here, and we're just going to run that back up to the base of the cuff. Just like that. And we'll tie it off here. And a triple knot. Go and cut that off. So there you have it. That is how you make a carousel cuff. Again, these are normally done with a 2x base. I just wanted to use a 1x so I could show you faster since I am working with limited time this month. And I did want to at least get a tutorial out and show you. Another trick that I did not use this time, but that you can use that will make these stiffer and these stiffer is if you use fishing line or yarn, basically any string that doesn't have stretch to it. That will also help these stand up straighter and not be so floppy. But since I used the straw trick, I did not bother with switching string. So there you go. That's how you make a carousel cuff. Thank you for watching the tutorial. Normally I have a whole bunch of announcements and stuff that go here. I will just say, if this helped you, please like, please subscribe, check out my Patreon. I put up patterns and stuff over on Patreon, and patrons get to see these videos like a day or two early. And I love you all. Have a good night. Extra big, huge thank you to my patrons, and specifically Ava, M, and Jofi. Your support keeps this channel alive, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you all.